2017 New Zealand, a group of 7 friends drives deep into the wilderness, far from cities, far from anyone. They're laughing, talking, and following a dirt trail that winds through thick green forests, toward a secret swimming spot they had discovered months ago. But before they could even see the water, they heard it. A high-pitched siren echoing through the trees. It lasted about 30 seconds, then vanished into silence. They looked around. No people, no buildings, just forest. "What was that?" one of them asked. No one knew, so they laughed it off and kept walking. They didn't realize that siren wasn't just a sound, it was a warning. A warning telling them to turn back. It was February 6th, 2017. The 7 friends, all from New Zealand, were packing up after a long weekend at Lake Tikitapu, where they had attended a floating music festival called Flochella. After the concert, they spent the night at a relative's house nearby. The next morning, they planned to drive 3 hours back to Auckland before traffic built up. As they loaded their cars, 21-year-old Rachel de Jong had an idea. Before heading back, she said, "Let's visit that secret swimming spot one last time." Her friend Maddie agreed. It was only a 15-minute drive away. Right on their route, it was a beautiful hidden pool, crystal blue and green, surrounded by trees, part of the Waikato River. A place that felt peaceful, untouched. But what they didn't know was that this pool was also dangerous because it sat right in the middle of something called a spill zone. They parked their cars by the roadside and followed an unmarked dirt path that locals used to reach the pool. No official trail signs, no warnings, just a narrow track leading into the dense forest. 15 minutes later, around 11:57 a.m., they were almost there. The trees began to thin out. Sunlight shimmered through, then it happened again. That same siren, loud metallic. It cut through the forest for about 30 seconds, then stopped. They froze, looked at each other. "What is that sound?" Someone asked again, no answers, just nervous laughter. And once again they ignored it. They had come this far. What could possibly go wrong? They reached the pool, a stunning turquoise basin surrounded by rocks. Excited, they slipped into their swimsuits and jumped in. Rachel and her 4 female friends climbed onto one rock, while the 2 guys swam to another nearby. Everything felt perfect. Until 11:58 a.m. The siren echoed through the forest again. The same sound. Louder this time. The same 20-30 seconds. Then silence. Once more they brushed it off. No danger in sight. No reason to worry. Rachel took out her camera, smiling as she snapped photos of her friends. Laughter filled the air. Until 2 minutes later, right at 12 noon, the siren blared for the 3rd time. This time something changed. When the 3rd siren stopped, the forest went still. Then a deep rumble began. At first it sounded like thunder, distant, rolling. Then it grew louder, closer. The friends turned toward the sound, up the river toward the hills. That's when they saw it. A wall of water crashing down from upstream, racing toward them at terrifying speed. They didn't even have time to scream before it hit the pool. The calm, glassy surface erupted into chaos. Within seconds, the rocks they were standing on began to sink beneath the rising water. The current became impossibly strong, too powerful to swim against. The group tried to stay calm. "Don't panic," someone shouted. "It'll stop soon." But the water only kept rising. And the current kept pulling. Two of the guys managed to jump to a larger rock connected to the forest's edge, the only safe spot. From there they called out to the others, "Swim to us, we'll pull you up." But for the girls still trapped, the current was too strong. Even standing was difficult. One wrong move and they'd be swept away. Rachel shouted, "We'll have to jump." One by one they began leaping toward the men, who reached out their hands to grab them. For a moment, it worked. Rachel made it safely. One more followed, but when the third girl jumped, the boy who caught her lost his balance. Both were pulled into the torrent and vanished downstream. Now only Rachel and one other girl, Alice, were left. Rachel grabbed her selfie stick, the one she had used moments ago to film, and extended it toward Alice. "Grab it," she screamed. "Jump!" Alice leaped. Her fingers brushed the stick, but slipped. Without thinking, Rachel dove into the water after her. The two of them were swept away together, disappearing beneath the raging waves. Later, when authorities investigated, they discovered the horrifying truth. Just 650 feet upstream, there was a hydroelectric dam, and every day around noon its floodgates were opened, releasing nearly 20,000 gallons of water per second into the river below. The three sirens the friends had heard. They were warning alarms, signals meant to alert anyone nearby that the dam's gates were about to open. But the trail they followed, the one locals had used for years, had once had a warning sign posted at its entrance. 2 weeks earlier, that sign had been stolen. So when Rachel and her friends walked in that morning, they had no idea what the siren meant. When the floodgate finally closed 15 minutes later, the survivors searched the river in panic. 4 of their friends were missing. 3 were found alive downstream, bruised, shaken, but breathing. One wasn't. Rachel de Jong, the same girl whose idea had brought them there, the same girl who had reached out her hand to save others, was gone. She had made it to safety, but chose to go back, to try one last rescue. Today, the Waikato River spill zone is fenced off. Warning signs are everywhere. The sirens still sound every day before the gates open, but people still sneak in. They still dive, they still swim, believing they'll be fine. And every time that siren echoes through the forest, it's as if it's calling out again, not just as a warning, but as a memory of the 7 friends, and the one who never came back.